Hey guys, what is up? It is Lovenji here, and first of all, I gotta apologise to you for missing my usual scheduled time for this video. I'm not gonna lie, I got caught up watching GSL and just sort of forgot to make this. So, sorry about that, but the video is here and I am bringing it to you, and we are still on Warhammer Dark Omen. Now, this mission is a very quick mission, so the video won't actually be horrifically long. It's another one of those surround, move quickly for victory type missions. But without further ado, let's get this underway. And I really like this cutscene because it features some more classic Morgan wit.
Mission accomplished. I couldn't have done better if I'd been in command myself.
High praise from you. Now let's return to Altdorf and report our success to the Emperor.
The artillery has been mobilized for the journey back to Altdorf. Ready to ride, Morgan?
Ready.
I'm pleased to see you back in Altdorf alive and well, Commander. As for you, Witch Hunter, I believe you bring information.
Indeed, my lord. The Jewel of Morsleaf proved to be a warpstone fragment. It was mined by Count Karstein's minions. For what purpose, I'm not yet sure.
I am. While Commander Bernhardt was out on his adventurous jaunt, I once more braved the horrors of the Liber Mortis. It is a source of regret to me that the newly repaired door of the Chamber Unbreachable was again blown off, as a ravening chimera escaped from the grimoire and blasted its foul soul essence into the mortal world. But accidents will happen when dealing with the occult. Be that as it may, after a desperate struggle with a monster composed entirely of fingers, I finally discovered hints about the Jewel and the Dread King. The Jewel was intended to magnify the Dread King's power, feed his strength. And the strength of the Dread King is dread itself. An aura of dread surrounds him, cowing his servants into abject obedience and unnerving his enemies. It is now apparent that Count Karstein was an arch-servant of the Dread King.
I don't know about the Dread King, but as for Count Karstein, he's been destroyed and his plans for the jewel were destroyed with him.
Then a disaster has been averted. If the jewel had been passed to the Dread King, his power would be formidable.
What of my cousin, the Countess?
I brought her back, safe and well. On the return journey, she told me that Karstein desired to make her his vampire bride. We arrived just in time to save her from the Count's fangs.
That's a special debt I owe you, Commander, and one I will not forget.
There still remain two more objects to be investigated. The Hand of Nagash and the Black Grail.
Commander, I think it would be wise to search first for the Hand of Nagash.
Is anything known of this hand?
I can tell you little, except that it is a thing of terrible power and is most likely to be found in the Kislev region.
Kislev? The region is a hotbed of heretics. A man like Bernhardt could easily be led astray by the blasphemous doctrines of that realm. He cannot be trusted to travel there alone. I shall accompany him on the way, and give him the benefit of my wisdom.
Don't put yourself out on my account.
I would suggest that you travel to Kislev by way of Talabheim. The people of Talabheim are in urgent need of help. Good fortune, Commander.
Farewell, my lord.
Morgan, an augur wants to speak with you. He claims to have vital information.
Then let's hear him.
My name's Urblab Rotgut.
That's your problem.
It's an honourable name among ogres, my name is. And my word can be trusted, my word can. If you're headed for Talabheim, the road to it's flooded. I can show you another way that goes clear of the town. But you'll have to fight your way along it.
Hard to believe, I've heard no report of any flood. Besides, all ogres are the spawn of the Dark One.
If what Urblab says is true, he'll be saving us valuable time. But I don't know. I never did trust ogres.
I hardly trust anyone, but I try to keep an open mind. We'll go with Urblab and see what happens.
Now you've got an ogre at your side, your enemies will get a real thumping. You just see if they don't.
Yes, we'll see.
Greenskins ahead!
Told you we'd have to fight, didn't I?
This is folly! Time-wasting folly! I hold you personally responsible for this, Bernhardt!
Then sit down and write a report about it while the rest of us fight. We attack. Now!
Okay, so here we are. We're surrounded by greenskins, and all we currently have visibility of is one archer unit. Now, Orc Arrer Boyz, as we've already said multiple times, are an incredibly dangerous ranged unit, and in fact there's not only one of them here. You want to deploy in a very specific way for this mission, and you want to make sure you're moving quickly. The enemy really gives you no sort of quarter, so you want to make sure you're fanned out appropriately, and if you don't play quickly, your wizard and both your artillery units are indeed at great risk. So be careful, be mindful. And I'll admit, I accidentally shot my bright wizard a couple of times here when the cannon turned around. So pay attention, more attention than I do. Fan out this way, you want to be dealing with your attacks to the northwest first, but be mindful. On top of what you can currently see, there are two lots of Orc Arrer Boyz on the hill to the east, protected by what is essentially a long bank of impassable water.
To arms! We're under fire! Hold fire! Engage! Yes, my lord. Aye, sir. Enemy sighted! Eye sharp, men. The forest is alive with goblins.
So goblins still aren't much of an issue to us. We're not too worried about goblins.
We're under fire! Enemy sighted!
Make sure you're always using your Banner of Wrath when you can.
We're under fire!
King Kano, a user that I shouted out previously, talks about having the Banner of Defiance on the Imperial Greatswords to make them much stronger. I do agree. I just forgot to move it back for my cavalry.
Charge!
So, goblins are still a pathetic melee unit and really not worth giving note to, as you can see. Just make sure you stay on top of these units, and your Imperial Greatsword should easily be able to deal with those orcs.
We're under attack! To arms!
So there you go. There are two units of archers there. You can blind fire on them. Guess where they are. I miss, because I forget where they are. And get your ogres moving. They're pretty arrow resistant. Again, not immune, just resistant. You can get them involved. Enemy units will continue to spawn in the northwest, which is why we've kept so many of our units in the northwest. It's very easy to deal with the first wave and then start thinking about dealing with those archers and leave yourself vulnerable to what continues to spawn up here.
Engage.
Crossbowmen are still wielding the Shield of Ptolos, which makes them very, very good in a firefight, which is why we're now just moving them over and getting them in a firefight here as well.
Target received.
And just like that, the Imperial Greatswords are cleaning up.
Crush them! We're under fire! Enemy sighted! Forward! Yes, my lord.
So they get some very good shots,
Yes,
and that just tells you how good Orc Arrer Boyz are, because even though the crossbows have Shield of Ptolos, they're still taking a lot of casualties in these firefights.
Target received! Target received!
Hold fire!
Aye, sir.
Charge!
We're under attack!
So we get lucky, we have the Bright Wizard throw some fireballs there in the middle of the unit's chat. There you go. There's one instance of the cannon's friendly fire. Happens all the time. I'm so bad at thinking about the cannon's arc of fire. The shot can arc, so you can fire it over, but not when the unit is directly in front of the cannon. That will cause friendly fire.
Charge!
So, what was the dumbest thing I think I've ever done ended up being pretty cool looking in that I made those crossbowmen charge. That was a mistake. I actually wanted the infantry and the flagellants to charge that unit. But because they got hit badly by the Banner of Wrath, they actually fled. And that worked out for us.
Yes, my lord. Yes, my lord.
Forward!
Yes, my lord.
Charge! We're under attack!
And again, the shots from the cannons have been really, really good this mission, with those units routed and retreating.
Target received! Target received!
Yes, my lord.
Open fire! Open fire!
So you may notice this mission is almost done. This is one of those missions that if you don't play it quickly, you take a lot of casualties and it seems really hard. But once you get your positioning and your movement down and you know where the enemies are spawning, as you can see, you get this really, really quick and clean play. It looks quite impressive, and it's also just satisfying to play this way as well. So with that, that's pretty much going to be the end of this mission. Nice quick one, but fun to play this one is.
Let's go! Charge! Wait for you!
So you may have noticed the cutscene was a little different at the start of this. It's just because I actually had some problems. Some of these missions I actually failed a few times and had to replay them. And I got really impatient, so instead of watching the cutscene every time I replayed the mission, I started skipping the text, and I forgot to keep the cutscene for this mission. So I actually had to go back in, and all my settings were different because I'm recording other footage for another game right now. And Warhammer's particularly particular about the settings that you have. So it all looks a bit wonky and a bit funky, but it is the cutscene still, and the footage of the actual gameplay is still from the original playthrough. I just had to re-record that little cutscene. Anyway, as always, like, share the video, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you'd like to see me do in future videos. Bye for now.